I'm Ryan Reed.
I'm Connor.
Okay. And we did it on, so we decided to fund DNA, forensics, and genetic testing for diseases. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, the first issue that we are funding is DNA forensics. We're funding this because it helps the jury make a decision with the facts. With, facts helping with the DNA. And the DNA forensics is a series of tests with any type of DNA. Skin, blood, bone, hair, and etc. When they finish the test, they compare it to all of their systems. You are in the system if you have committed a crime or involved in one earlier. And sometimes if you're a victim, they'll also take your DNA.
So we also did genetically testing for diseases. So we're funding this because this can be used to reduce sicknesses by catching the disease early on, so you can catch it before it gets lethal and stop it. And you have to take either blood, bone, and blood tissue for the test for the diseases.
Okay, and so the downsides for doing the forensics DNA is that DNA forensics is very trustworthy. It can help in many ways, but when the DNA sample is very small, it can be destroyed while you're testing it. And if that happens, then the defense lawyer, if they make a good enough argument saying that the DNA could have been made up, or that because they didn't have a chance to test it, something could have gone wrong with the test and they destroyed it on purpose just to prove it for their case, that way it would seem more believable. And if their case is good enough and the judge can agree with it, then the judge can make the trial a mistrial, which means that they have to find all new evidence. They have to find new evidence to convict the suspect again.
Yeah. And so
Yours.
that's
Wow. Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, it is. Sorry.
What? Is that a butterfly?
It's a bird.
It's a swan.
Okay, so the downside for genetically testing for diseases is it's a really good thing because it helps you if you're sick and it catches the thing good like that. So but it's very, very expensive and not everyone can afford it. So if you're sick and you're poor, then you won't be able to pay for it and you might die. That's not good. And if mothers find out that there is something wrong with the baby, they could decide to get rid of the baby.
An abortion.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant throw it in the trash can. Yeah.
When it's in the womb, and they can either decide to have the baby or they can get an abortion, which isn't good.
And if they decide to test the baby too late into their pregnancy, and if they decide that there is something wrong with the baby, then they can't get an abortion, then they can give birth to the baby and put it up for adoption.
And another downside is that the disease might not, or not disease, the test might not show all of the disease, so they could see part of the disease and not know how bad it really is, because it could be really bad, but they only see part of it because of the sample they got was too small or something. So that's one of the downsides.
Okay, so we have two Bible verses for one for the forensics and the other for the genetic testing. And then fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable and murderers and fornicators and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. It's like hell. Revelations 21:8.
Okay, so another one is, a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years came up behind Jesus and barely touched his clothes. She had said to herself, "If I can just touch his clothes, I will get well." Jesus turned. He saw the woman and said, "Don't worry, you are now well because of your faith." At that moment she was healed. And that's Matthew 9:20-22 from the Bible. So that basically, yeah, not a copy.